The deadline to file your income tax return is Monday, and if you haven't done so yet, you're not alone. About a third of all Americans wait until the last minute.
And to provide some tax advice for all of us procrastinators, we're now joined live by professional tax preparer Jacob Siaosi. And Jacob, thank you so much for your time tonight. We want to, of course, talk about if you only have 2 days left, right? So if you haven't filed your taxes yet, should you do that or should you get an extension?
Yeah, it's a good question. So the deadline is April 18th. And so if you don't think that you're going to be able to finish in time, you can file an extension, and that will give you until October to file.
And if you do want to file an extension, how do you go about doing so?
So the easiest way is to just go on irs.gov website. There's a tab where you can select extension, and then they give you guidelines on how you can do that.
And so we've heard that there is a high demand for tax preparers right now. Of course, everyone trying to get it in at the last minute. So what's your advice to people if they can't get in touch with somebody with a tax preparer before the deadline?
My best advice would be just try and get that extension in. And then if you have questions or need help afterwards, you can come and contact the tax preparer. It's mainly for people that usually get refunds. The deadline's not as hard, but if you owe money, try and get that extension done so they don't hit you with late penalties.
And talk about what kind of demand you are seeing. Are people booked out for a while to get a tax preparer?
Yeah, so we've been booked until probably say March. We were already booked until this deadline, and then we're booked out for a couple more weeks. And so it's just it's kind of hard because people get papers at different times of the year, but try and set up a meeting and as soon as you can.
Are there any deductions people are missing out on, some things that you've noticed in people filing?
Yeah, so a big deduction that people always forget about are the charitable contributions that they make. And that's donations of food, clothes to Goodwill, things like that. And if you have a receipt, you can directly put that on your tax return and it'll help you out.
And before we let you go, we were talking earlier and you were saying that people who have not filed their 2008 return and are due money may lose it if they don't get that return in by Monday.
Yeah, so the 2018 tax return, you have up to 3 years to file if you get the refund. And so if you don't get that in the mail by the deadline, then you miss out on that money and it just goes to the IRS.
All right. Well, Jacob Siaosi, we really want to thank you so much for your time tonight, to getting that valuable information in for all of us taxpayers out there. Thank you so much.
Me.
Aloha.
Aloha.